Hi there everybody and welcome back to the next analysis commentary video. Today we're going to be going over a very talented support player, support main. This is the 5th highest ranked person on the leaderboard as of current. Today, the date is January 24th of 2025. So this person has been absolutely killing it. This is the person I watch whenever I really want to learn like more stuff about support, as it's the role that I really want to play second most when compared to damage. I've been really having a lot of fun when playing characters like Mantis, characters like now Invisible Woman. I've been picking her up and having a lot more fun with her than I thought that I would. So we're going to go ahead and jump right into it. This is Saipa, or Saifa, however you pronounce it. I'm not really too sure. I think it's Saipa though. Super duper good player. We're going to go over this and break down a little bit of what he's doing. Maybe we can shed some light, and maybe I can improve and you can improve as well. So we'll go ahead and bump in. Team comp is looking pretty good. On the red team, which is Saifa's, we'll be seeing Networks and Strange. We have a Magneto player, Hela, Star-Lord, Cloak and Dagger, and obviously Invisible Woman. So we'll see how this ends up going. Already off the rip, really using that shield to his advantage, dropping the ball in the middle of the team to do as much damage as possible. Since you can't really break it, it just kind of sits there like a rock, doing a lot of DPS. Dropping the shield while using the healing just to speed things along and get as much HP out as possible. As you can see, we're already at about 69% ult charge, wink. But this is for multiple reasons, right? If we go ahead and hit tab, we can see that we are already at about 817 damage, and as well as 1,742 healing. Invisible Woman is really good at stacking ult charge, maybe even comparable to like Cloak and Dagger, because Invisible Woman's bullets pierce. So not only are they healing multiple people at once per throw, they're also hitting enemies if the shield is not up on the other team. So she's getting the best of both worlds. She's getting the damage for her ult charge, and she's also getting the healing that she's providing for her team as ult charge as well. Tried to do the pull, didn't work out. It's always nice to fish for it, see if you can maybe grab somebody. Using the shield on the Star-Lord is a really good idea because, well, while he's flying in the air, the shield is able to track him so long as you're spamming the right click. Yet again, dropping it into the back so that way they can just play around it. Trying to boop the Strange into the team, and then backing up promptly to help the rest of the team, knowing that the ult was about to drop. Really unfortunate that the ult ended up breaking pretty much as the storm ult went down. Could be a lot worse, but I believe they're the only person that ends up dying in the end, so it's not the worst thing in the world. Very unlucky though. Pulls the Penny out of the room, helping get the kill, secure it. Again, look how we're dropping the shield on the Star-Lord over and over again. This is going to be super good, just making sure that he's able to keep the healing up. It's really hard to hit him in the air, obviously, some of these support characters, but the shield tracks, so it's very nice for him in the long run. Okay, notice how far back we're sitting, so we're able to kind of see and take a look at everything that's going on at once. Pushes the Penny Parker off as fast as he possibly can once hearing the ultimate. And again, giving the Magneto as much HP as possible. And we're already back up to our next ultimate, which is absolutely wild, but what are you going to do? The character just plays itself very good. Very good healer. Is ready for the ultimate. Did not have the push, so they end up just dropping the ultimate altogether. Make sure that everybody's fine. Aware this time that the storm is going to just try to run a train through them, so they end up backing off of it. And nobody ends up dying. The Hela ends up burning. Ooh. She actually did end up landing at the end, but regardless, it was a really good counter ultimate. Counter to the ultimate. They didn't ult anything out of it, but you get the point. Playing inside of the ultimate, pulling the enemies back into the ult so they can take that extra damage. Mag's going to drop it, attempting to kill us. Super duper good. Our shield ends up breaking, so we're kind of, I guess, abandoning the healing on the Star-Lord while he's in the ult. The shield is super good on Star-Lord because while he's in ult, you can use it to kind of just spam and protect him. Again, dropping the shield mid-air, and they end up breaking it. Huge pull on the storm here, pulling them out of the Luna Snow ult. Look at that, man. Wow, that was crazy. That was actually really good. And overall, just making sure that they're able to... Again, dropping the ultimate on reaction as the Strange ult. But again, I want to kind of back up to this a little bit. Take notice as to how they're kind of like throwing the balls towards the enemies as well as the allies, they're getting so much damage and healing out of doing this. Like already sitting at a solid 5k damage just about with 13k healing is really, really nice. Not bad at all. Again, stats are not always a direct indicator of what you're doing like entirely well. They don't always mean that you should win a game, but they can be a very, very good kind of a nudge in the right direction as to what you might be doing correct or incorrect. Overall, just playing extremely solid, though. They had only one death against the Stormbolt, but I mean, it's going to happen to the best of us, so what can you do? Really good attempt at pushing the Magneto off the map. This is a very, very good area for Cloak and Dagger in general, or I mean, for Invisible Woman in general, so. Again, attempting to shoot the Strange off the map. Very, very nice that he's taking these, like, super strong angles to make sure. Man, I just don't, you don't see that very often, especially even in Diamond. Like, Metal ranks, you don't see it that often, but I don't see many Invisible Woman players try to do this, around high Diamond level where I'm at currently. Punisher ends up ulting. Ooh, their team ends up falling because they didn't have a support ult on hand, but, pocketing the Punisher here to make sure he can get as much damage as he possibly can. Not a whole lot comes out of it, but we did build up the ult, and we did end up getting a lot of healing off on him. Really, really nice pull to make sure we can get some extra damage. And they waited for the team pretty good, just trying to poke a little bit, get a little bit of extra meat on the damage stat. And overall, playing a really, really clean game, pushing them back so we can move forward. So much healing that shield gives, it's kind of insane. And look how the hell is just playing inside around that shield. Might as well, because the healing on it's very nice. Able to just put it wherever and then have the team play around it in a really awkward, weird spot that the enemies can't really shoot. Making sure that we come back right here. They see that the Magneto is like kind of alone, so they end up just moving forward and then going back around to help him and prioritize healing him over the other four since they're grouped up together. Tragic death on the Star-Lord, but it happens. Dropping the shield again. And trying to pull the Cloak and Dagger out of the ultimate to break it, but it doesn't, so they can kill her, but it doesn't end up working out that way. Who's that? Is that the Strange? Oh, it is. Interesting. Magneto ends up ulting, looking for the Cloak and Dagger. Finds her, ends up ending her ultimate early. Already at 70% for the support ult. Man, look at how hard it is to hit the Star-Lord whenever you don't have the shield. It's kind of crazy. And already, look at that healing that they're just getting. That's so much ultimate charge. The biggest thing about the healing stat for characters like this, rather than it meaning like, oh, obviously you're doing your job whenever your healing stat is high, but more importantly, it's the amount of ultimates that you end up getting in a game based on like this number, because the higher the number is, the faster you're going to be getting your support ultimate, and that's like the biggest thing, because having your support ultimate up as much as possible is how you win these games consistently, especially in metal ranks. If you just have the support ult, nobody's going to die ever. So this is a very, very, very good way if you're really, really wanting to get into support. Prioritizing getting your ultimate as fast as possible by keeping your teammates alive and staying alive is the best way. Keeping your average of deaths really low and keeping your healing high, so that way you can guarantee that you always have a support ult when it's necessary. Which is why characters like Invisible Woman, characters like Cloak and Dagger are extremely strong, because they just do it so well and so free that you don't really ever have to worry about doing a whole lot of hard stuff to get that ultimate. And again, like, we're already at another 20% just based off of this one interaction, so very, very huge. Not bad at all. Dropping this ball here in the middle is super duper good as well, because they end up having to walk through it. They take a lot of damage. They just have to give up this area for free. Giving as much healing on the Magneto as possible. Again, dropping the ball. Trying to pull off the storm doesn't exactly work because she can, well, fly, but really, really good idea. The push was a bit late, but we do end up just dropping the ultimate, which is really nice. Playing as far away as possible, though, so that way the Strange cannot just, like, come over and kill. Because the Cloak and, or the, the Cloak and Dagger and the Hela are also playing far back, anticipating it. Oh my god, there's so many ult charges. The if we go ahead and back up here, and we just take a look, Cloak and Dagger, Invisible Woman, and the Hela are playing pretty far back. So whenever the Strange actually does ult, even though we miss the push, we're in a really good spot because we and the Cloak and Dagger have ult, and we also have a Loki. And we're not really in any danger because we're so far back that he's got to choose, does he hit the meat and potatoes at the front end, or does he come and dive the back? Even if he dives the back, he's got to be all the way back here in order to hit this Cloak and Dagger and the Invisible Woman. And it's very reactable at that point because he's got to go quite a bit of distance. So overall, very, very good. Okay, dumping as much healing as we can, waiting it out. Going invisible for this is really, really nice because it kind of leaves her in a little bit of a guessing game as to where you might be. Unfortunate. Both tanks end up falling here. Pretty sad. 30 seconds on the push left, so there's only about as much time for one push. But I actually do end up thinking they end up winning the push here. Pushes the Strange off, kind of gets rid of the pressure that he was making. Overall, the Cloak and Dagger is ready with another ultimate, so that's pretty good. Oh my god, earlier whenever I said they had a Loki, I was talking about the other team, not ours, duh. And moving forward, looking for the person that was sitting below ground so they could maybe throw them off, but they end up hiding. Magneto ends up throwing the ult. They miss the Cloak and Dagger, which is really, really good. Dumping as much HP on our teammates as we can. Again, playing behind the cart now so we can kind of play for the extra cover. Strange ends up getting a huge ultimate, and now we swap over to damage mode. Right here, throwing the push at the Luna would do no good since she can't be CC'd. Magneto ends up killing the Loki that swapped over to the Luna. Really clean first round, not bad at all. Let's go ahead and take a look at the end of round stats. 10k damage and 30,000 healing. Again, not exactly, doesn't necessarily mean that somebody should be winning or losing a game, but this does imply that there's a lot of ultimates. Well, maybe the other team, if you see that they do have more healing, the damage that is in between is definitely making up for that quite a bit, as like the Cloak and Dagger only has 6k damage and we have 10, or just about 11. Same thing with the Loki, who only has 5,000 healing, but he has 8k damage. So really, really, really nice. Not a bad first round at all. Okay, here in the next round, we're sitting on defense. Watching this character on defense is always a lot more interesting to me than on offense, because I feel like she really, really gets a chance to shine here. Especially with like the setup characters that might be in play. Ends up having a lot of utility with the shield, able to help characters like Punisher really get going. So I'm very, very curious to see how she ends up playing this one out. Another character that this character pairs well with is Storm, but I haven't seen this person play a lot with Storm on the team. It seems like, for the most part, they love to queue with this, with the Strange player at the very least, and I think a Star-Lord player as well, but it's very, very, very interesting. Very, very nice pull. Not bad at all. Okay, they throw the rock in the middle and just doing as much damage as they possibly can to build that ult, and we already have the invisible ult. Again, look at this Hela playing with the shield super duper well, ends up breaking. But that's super duper good for her. One, it already provides the shield, and she does take damage, it heals over time. And if they walk through it, they end up getting slowed trying to break it. And so they end up ulting, but our Cloak and Dagger ends up ulting. We were about to drop both support ults, but the cancel came in very clutch. Cloak and Dagger does end up dying, but we're already ready to get out of the way and drop our own. Huge kill on the Storm. Very, very nice solo kill. Making sure that they kite backward, knowing full well that whenever the support ult ends, that they're kind of a fish sitting there. Really solid attempt at throwing the ult down for the Strange, but it just does not end up going their way. Fishing forward as much as they possibly can, but Magneto ends up taking a death, and they just are able to fall off after pushing the rocket away. Really, really nice. This character has a lot of getaway potential because of the invisible hop as well as the push, so definitely not bad at doing that at all. Okay. Setting back up, trying to get a pull. I believe that our shield does end up breaking right there. So they are down that utility for a little bit as well. pinging it back up. Looking for the Star-Lord right as he's trying to ult so we can maybe drop a shield on him to kind of give him the little bit of extra HP. So much healing goes into that with the shield, that's crazy. And jumping forward so we can get a really aggressive pull. Doesn't end up working out. They overextend quite a bit. Really, really unfortunate death, but I mean, it happens. Looking for a kind of a hero play to make sure that they can hold for as long as they possibly can. Oh my gosh, we actually swap over to the Storm. We can go ahead and see this kind of the synergy that's going to happen with the two characters. Already dropping the shield over on the Storm, trying to provide the HP. Really tough death. The Storm ults preemptively and staggers the Invisible Woman. We'll go ahead and skip forward a little bit to catch back up to what happened. Not too bad at all. Dropping the shield again. And putting the rock down again in the middle of the team, getting as much damage as they possibly can. Really looking to build up this ult charge as quickly as possible. Dropping the ultimate charge the way they can go ahead and see if they can kind of stall this as long as possible. They have a lot of time left until for them to push the end of the cart. About 5 minutes, or 4 minutes now, which is really insane. And the entire team ends up falling, and they get the point seemingly for free. Really, really tough. It's going to be an incredibly hard time pulling this one out, but we'll see. Overall, putting the shield on the Storm, making sure that she stays as healthy as possible. Really good target prioritization. Very, very quick to switch healing targets whenever they see somebody loses the slightest bit of HP. Okay, plays around the team very, very well. Moving up slowly as the team moves up, making sure they're not too far behind, but not too far forward. And already at 87% for the next ultimate, even though they just dropped the last one not even 20 seconds ago. Crazy. Again, dropping the rock. Look at how much ult charge they ended up getting. That's another 12% just off of that. Giving the shield to the Strange who's in the air. Oh my gosh, just dumping as much healing as they possibly can. This shield right here is really, really nice as well because it allows she or the other support to kind of move backward into the shield, getting more healing. Not a bad spot to leave it, for sure. And just also helps the Hela in case she needs to move back up to that high ground. Okay, and moving back, per usual, getting back into the comfort zone, kind of the nice little setup spot. Anticipating the probable ultimate that's going to be coming from the Strange and the Storm, as it's been a little bit since they last used theirs. Especially the Storm, the last time she used hers was pretty much in the last time we died, over by the tree. Yep, there's the ultimate. But the Magneto ended up missing the ultimate, so the Cloak and Dagger dropped theirs, and now we still have ours for after the Storm ult fails. Really huge. Storm ends up dying inside of the ultimate. And just walking it down. Again, giving as much healing as needed, so that way they can just stay alive, keep everybody healthy. And Cloak and Dagger is already at another 30% for their ultimate, which is kind of crazy, but I mean, it's support meta. What can you do? Oh my god, the rocket had the respawn in there. That's crazy. Our Storm ends up ulting, and they end up dropping their own. Does Magneto end up getting the kill here? No, but the Storm ends up dying, though. On the other team. And we still have the Invisible Woman ult to kind of secure this. Oh my god, seeing the Cloak and Dagger ultimate at the top right corner go from like 70% to 90% in one sitting is crazy. Huge Strange ult. Moving up, making sure that he's staying as healthy as possible. We still have the Invisible Woman ult. Ooh, but it's going to be late. That's a tough death. Ooh. That's kind of a tough one, but the Cloak and Dagger was still alive, so they're able to actually pick it back up. Okay, that was a really long loading time for me to skip, but it's okay. Overall back, 40 seconds left on the clock. There's one more push to be had, but the other team doesn't really have any ultimates or anything like that. Maybe with some luck they get the Cloak and Dagger one by the time the next fight comes, but very, very unlikely. Never mind, look at that ultimate on the top left corner. That's crazy. That's actually disgusting. But we do have the Invisible Woman ult still. We're just kind of holding it as long as we possibly need to. Dropping it as soon as they're about to die. Leaving so that way the Magneto does not just kill. And no support ult on our team, but it seems like the Storm was only able to get one person, so that's not too bad at all. Ends up trying to get the push off. The Cloak and Dagger ult wasn't terrible, but it doesn't really give a whole lot to the point itself, so the only thing it really helps is to stay alive for the rest of the push. For like just a little bit, but after they start moving the cart, it seems like they're not in a really good spot. Strange has an ult, here we go. And our Cloak and Dagger ends up popping theirs, which is really, really nice for the situation. And already, with that 20-second gap, another Invisible Woman ult. Really huge. And then there's the Hello ult, and this one should be aces. Should just be over. Drops the shield, moving over. Not bad at all. Throwing the stuff so they're getting the damage and the healing. And that'll do it. It's the end of the game. We'll go ahead and take a look at the endgame stats. Starting with their team, we'll just compare them directly to the other healers. So the Cloak and Dagger ended up dropping 13k damage and 66,000 healing. That's crazy. 10k damage on the Luna with 58,000 and 17k damage blocked. But look at our team. That's 13k for the Cloak and Dagger on ours, and that's 61,000, so a little bit less healing as compared to the others, with barely a little bit more damage. But the big meat and potatoes is the 21k damage on Invisible Woman with 56,000 healing and 23k damage blocked. That's absolutely disgusting. Super duper good. Remember, these stats are not always an indicator of like, oh, I should be winning this game, but they do kind of add up in the end, because especially for supports, this is a very direct showing of a... Oh, actually, you know what? Let me go ahead and move my guy out of the way for you. I just realized that his big-ass head is in the way, so you're probably seeing like way more of that as compared to like the actual stats. Still in the way. Here, you can go all the way up here. But we can go ahead and take a look. If you just see on the bottom, the 23,000 damage blocked, huge, the healing, the damage. They add up in the end. They add up, and that means more ultimates. More ultimates means more team fights that are winnable. You save a lot more people whenever you have your ultimate up as much as possible on support, and they position themselves really, really well. 5 deaths for this game was not bad at all, averaging like 2.5 deaths around. Not bad. Super duper good, super duper clean. Really, really well played. But I don't know if this person makes any content. If they do, make sure you go show them some love. As always, you guys do me proud again and again and again. I love you guys so much. Thank you so much for all the love and support. Let's see if we can hit 10k by the end of next month. I believe we can do it. And you're great. You're awesome. You're amazing. And I love you. And I'll see you soon. Bye. Later. See ya. Bye.